But this was one of the reasons I was able to communicate. I was a member of the commandos. No British military police could stop me or interrogate me. We were a unit unto ourselves, and we got anywhere. As a matter of fact, even when I went to Paris, and the biggest joke was when we went to Paris, that was already when the war was over, we forged papers that got us to Rome. We were in Naples. We went to Rome. From Rome, we went to Genoa. And in Genoa, we hitchhiked. And I remember we went to San Savonarola. Unbelievable. There was a little jeep came down, and I realized it was a brigadier general, and I looked at his chest. He had a lot of medals, I had a lot of medals. He looked at my medals, they were higher than his medals. And British are very, very medal conscious. It's stupid, because in the commandos nobody cared a shit. Nobody warm, nobody cared. I remember in most British units, the soldiers didn't give a damn, as a matter of fact, if anything. I remember one soldier once telling me, I don't know why you got those medals, you're a pretty lousy soldier anyhow. And he came from the infantry. So he had all sort of technical knowledge which I did not have. He was right there, but for some funny part, he never got anything accomplished. Whenever there was a special mission, they sent me with a few volunteers, and we did a lot of damage. Go back to Brindisi, I was operated, I was flown to Florence, I had 23 operations, and they finally patched me together. I mean, I had been very badly wounded, in my arms, in my leg, in my back. What had saved me, and I only realized it much later on, it was middle of the winter, it was very cold, or end of the winter, I don't forget exactly when. I had 2 sweatshirts, 2 shirts, 2 sweaters, my regular military jacket, a leather jacket. In addition, I had an ammunition belt, and the ammunition belt at the back has a double webbed cross. And over that, I had a machine gun belt, with a machine gun ammunition, and that has a copper lock like this. So when that shrapnel hit me, it went through 4 layers of copper, 2 layers of webbing, and through all my clothes, hit the bone, and never penetrated. So that's why I survived. I mean, I couldn't understand how that explosion. I mean, I was sure. I mean, it was like a sledgehammer like this hit me. And I couldn't believe I couldn't believe that I had been hit. I'd been wounded before, but nothing like this. It couldn't happen to me, that happens to other people. Like when you're in a battle, you are not in a battle. You see a television or movie screen, and you see maybe a machine gun or something moving, and you see, you are really not there. I saw on that screen Czech being blown into the air. By the way, Czech died because every time somebody gave him morphine, he wiped it off. So he must have gotten 8 doses of morphine. He didn't want to live as being crippled without 2 legs. He too was a London policeman. Okay, going back to Florence, after they patched me up, they sent me back to the unit. No. I was too badly wounded to go back to the commandos, so they sent me to, I had volunteered in the Royal Army Service Corps, so they sent me back to a unit in the Royal Army Service Corps, but my unit had been more or less wiped out when we were torpedoed on the invasion of Sicily, so I was attached to another service unit, and Ivan was in that unit. So Ivan and I had a ball, and that's when we were stationed in Bologna. I remember it must have been late November or December, because it was raining all the time, hardly any nice days. And Gabriele was living in Bologna, so the first thing I did, I bought some flowers and visited Gabriela.
How did you meet her?
I met Gabriela in 1939 after the Kristallnacht in Germany, when the Nazis from different towns went into Jewish home and smashed up all the glassware and chandeliers. That's why they call it the Kristallnacht. And my parents were able to meet us in Bologna. I had taken a ship from Haifa, and Lottie was in Bologna, and we tried to convince my parents to either go with Lottie to America or come with me to Israel. My father refused because he said it's illegal. And my mother wanted to stay and go with Lottie or go with me. He insisted he has to go back to Germany. He said he has to get legal papers to immigrate legally. I mean, he was an idiot when it came to that.
Well, he didn't want to lose everything he had either.
And in addition, I'm sure, he didn't want to leave what he had. He had a lot. He was a very wealthy, well-to-do man, very respected in the town. I told you the anecdote before, you know, when he made me parade down the main street. And that killed him. And anyhow, I stayed in Bologna. I told you the episode, all the crazy things we did. We went to Paris. They caught us on the way back to Paris, you know. But again, because at the DCM, they couldn't do anything. When you have high medals, they really leave you alone. Because they couldn't do anything to me, they couldn't do anything to Ivan. So they rented a room. And my sister rented a room with them, so that she became friends with Gabriela. And that's the way I met Gabriela. You know, I went to visit Gabriela. I fell really in love with her. And I proposed to her, but she was 8 years older.
You proposed in 39?
No, I proposed in 43 or 44.
Okay.
You know, and I remember telling a friend, I'm so much older than you, and how will you make a living? How do you get a job in Italy?
Why did you fall in love with her?
When I was in the army.
But why? What about her?
A beautiful girl.
Well, what about personality? What kind
Wonderful personality. I mean, I was really in love with her.
Yeah.
You know, to make a long story short, you met her.
Yeah.
Jessica met her. Every time I went to Italy, we always went to visit Gabriela.